So good afternoon. We're going to have a very exciting episode today. We're going to install Active Directory on a Windows Server 2008 Release 2 server. So to get started with that, let's go ahead and add roles. And we have a wizard, as you see, that's going to pretty much guide us through our various roles. Very first thing we're going to want to do is select the Active Directory domain services. And you'll see there are some dependencies or features that need to go along with that. So we're going to go ahead and add the required features. Specifically in this instance, Microsoft.NET Framework 3.51. Let's go ahead and add that. Alrighty. Let's go next. So here we have introduction to the Active Directory services. I would advise the viewer to read that, or at least peruse it. Alrighty, hopefully you've been able to go through that. We're now at the screen where we are prepared to install our .NET Framework, and we're going to go ahead and install that. And that should take a few moments. We're running this particular Server 2008 in a virtual environment, and we've given it just 1 gigabyte of RAM. We're running in a test environment. This will not be a production server, but even with the 1 gig of RAM, the VM seems to be moving pretty quickly. However, we may pause for this portion of the installation. Okay, nothing succeeds like success, and we see that we have installed our Active Directory domain services successfully. Everything is successful, our .NET Framework, our directory services. So let's go ahead and close that. Alrighty, so now let's go ahead and open up our Server Manager. And we'll go over to Roles, and we'll go over to Active Directory Server Manager. Active Directory Domain Services. I apologize for that. Now, those of you that are like me, that have installed a fair amount of domain controllers in Server 2003, Server 2008, yeah, you're used to seeing your old friend DC Promo. And yeah, of course, it's there in Server 2008. If you've by now, of course, gone on to install more than a few Server 2012s, you're well aware that DC Promo is no longer with us in Server 2012. But for our purposes in the Server 2008, we're going to go ahead and run the Active Directory Domain Services installation wizard, our good friend DC Promo. And we're going to be prompted with the Welcome to Active Directory Domain Services Installation Wizard. We won't use the advanced mode installation, at least for this one. So here again we have some information the viewer may like to peruse. And specifically it relates to the security settings of Server 2008 and Server 2008 Release 2. And so we're going to just, we're going to go ahead and go next with that. And as this is a new domain, we're not joining a domain, we're creating a new domain in a new forest. we're going to go ahead and choose this option. If we were joining an existing forest, we of course would choose that. But so we're going to choose this, and at this point we're going to go next. Delay as the administrative password did not meet the complexity requirements. So you're going to want to make sure you have good, strong alphanumeric passwords. So now we're prepared to create our fully qualified domain name, or I thought we were. Alrighty, I believe we are ready for a fully qualified domain name. Let's go ahead and .local. Okay. That new forest name is not in use, so this shouldn't be a problem. It'll take a moment to verify that. We're verifying our NetBIOS names. So this is our first domain controller. No, we're not going to be a Windows Server 2003. We are in fact a server. Let's just take a quick look. So no, it's not a 2003 Forest functional level, providing all the features that are available in a Windows 2000 Forest functional level. So we're going to select the 2008 release 2, that it is. So let's go ahead and go next. We're going to examine our DNS configurations. Okay, so this is completed, and our first domain controller is now also our DNS server. Let's go ahead and go next. On this, in this instance, we're going to, even though it's not, just for now, we're going to temporarily go ahead and allow it to be DHCP, and we're going to come back and then assign some static IPs to it. But for right now, just to keep us moving forward, let's go ahead and go yes. Alright, so we're now faced with the choice of locations for database, log files, and sysvol. So the database and sysvol locations are fine. Now, in a production environment, you very well may want your log files going to another hard drive, but in a test environment, yeah, we're perfectly fine if we go ahead and have everything on the same drive. Again, this is a test environment and far from a production environment. So let's go ahead and go next on that. Now, you want to give some thought, or at least remember and or jot down what you have put in your directory services restore mode administrative password. And that's going to be very different from your domain administrator account or any other password that you set up. So go ahead and have a strong password, but one, again, a strong password, but one that you're going to recall. Again, it's a test environment, so no, we don't need quite DoD level passwords, but yeah, good alphanumeric, mixed characters, uppercase, lowercase, some symbols, all of those would be good password complexity requirements, which I may or may not comply with. Let's go ahead and go next. as stated, that I may or may not. So yeah, again, a combination of uppercase, lowercase letters, numbers, symbols. So we need a stronger password. So let's go ahead and try to be stronger. I think we can accomplish that. I think we can. And something that we'll remember for the most part. And again, it behooves us to perhaps jot down or have a place where we have our credentials, something encrypted or alrighty. That one was good. So review your selections, configure this server as the first Active Directory domain controller in a new forest. CobraCon.local, that's the name of the new forest. NetBIOS name of the domain is CobraCon. It is a 2008 R2 server. It's functional level. Server 2008 R2. It's not a read-only domain controller. It is a global catalog. It is a DNS server. We have our locations for a database log and sysvol. So all looks well there. So let's go ahead and go next. And we're now configuring our Active Directory domain services. And it may, as stated, may take a few minutes, may take several hours. I think it would, this will only take a few minutes. This won't take several hours, but we're going to pause nonetheless. That took, I'd say, about 4 minutes. But then again, the volume size, the hard drive size of this particular test server is relatively small, and of course, as always, your mileage may vary. But we've completed the Active Directory Services installation wizard. It's now installed on this computer for the domain CobraCon.local. And it's assigned as a default first site name, so let's go ahead and finish. Now we'll need to restart this computer, so we're going to restart, and we're going to pause as we restart, and we'll be right back with our bouncing baby domain controller. So we've logged into our domain controller, and we see our CobraCon.local. We see our Active Directory users and computers, and our domain controller. And we've got about a few users: administrator, DNS admin, domain admins, domain computers, domain controllers, guests, the usual cast of characters. Thus far, we haven't done much in terms of configuring this DC. No GPO, OU, nothing. We've not edited any services, hardened anything. Going forward, we'll probably join some clients to this, some Windows clients, Windows 7, Windows 8, perhaps a few, one or two more, Server 2008, perhaps a Server 2012. It is our hopes going forward we will have some Unix variants joining this domain. Specifically, OpenBSD is a file server. We'll have a Ubuntu client. Again, a number of Unix variants. So we're hoping that we'll be able to come back to you with those videos at a later point. But today, we've been very happy to show you how to install a domain controller on a Windows Server 2008 Release 2. Hope you've enjoyed it.